Well, some small businesses are preparing themselves for a small economic windfall should same-sex marriage proceed. SBS Finance editor Ricardo Goncalves joins us now. And Ricardo, many have seen an increase in inquiries following Ireland's yes referendum.
Yeah, Anton, estimates vary, but there is no denying any benefit would complement the government's small business push. Now, as we know, same-sex marriage is not legal in Australia, but it is in New Zealand. And since the 1st of January last year, we saw 373 Australian same-sex couples travelling across the Tasman to get married, taking their money with them also. So business owners here in Australia stand to gain from marriage equality, and I spoke with a few of them. Frank Farrugia set up his photography business in 2012 when he identified a gap in the market.
This brand of photography is all about being inclusive.
He already does pro bono work with Australian marriage equality, leading to shoots with Australian icons like Kylie Minogue, but says Ireland's recent yes vote on gay marriage is sparking further interest here.
I get about at least one inquiry per week from a gay or lesbian couple, whether they're having a civil ceremony.
He's getting ready for more business.
I expect that when things do pass, I will actually have to hire editors and more contractors to keep up with the demand.
Caterer Chelsea Abraham also says marriage equality would mean a larger workforce.
Bigger production, more staff, ongoing staff.
She's already run off her feet with traditional ceremonies and corporate work, and while interest from the lesbian, gay, bisexual and intersex community is slow, she sees a lot of potential.
If it does go ahead, I think a lot more people are going to be very open to getting married, and I think that's going to benefit my business ongoing.
All that extra business is expected to inject more than $160 million into the economy in the first few years of marriage equality.
That's probably a conservative estimate. There are probably lots more couples than your Census Bureau counts.
Professor Lee Badger based her research on the 2011 census, which counted 33,700 same-sex couples in Australia, representing 1% of all couples.
In the US, we typically used to see that about half of same-sex couples would marry in the first couple of years.
The state of Massachusetts was the first US state to allow same-sex couples to marry in 2004.
Just in the first 5 years, in Massachusetts, the state economy had a boost of $111 million.
And while any economic boost will be temporary because of pent-up demand, Sydney celebrant Melissa Sonsini expects follow-through.
As it tapers off, then we've also got the time where people come from overseas from Mardi Gras. I imagine there'll be lots of weddings happening, perhaps on a float at the parade or around that time when they've organised their summer holidays in Australia.
Well, one of the world's greatest investors, Warren Buffett, is entering a strategic partnership with an Australian company through his investment vehicle Berkshire Hathaway, and he sent out this rare video.
I'm 84 years old, and this is my first investment in an Australian company. I mean, I've been very derelict, but it's been worth waiting for. We've now picked the best, and we've entered into an area of the world where we've done some business before, but now we're coming in with an ownership position.
That ownership position is a 3.7% stake in Insurance Australia Group made through a $500 million share placement. The investment means IAG can now accelerate its overseas expansion plans. IAG shares rose 4.3% on the news. To the Australian share market now, and despite a strong morning rally, shares finished lower by the close. The All Ords gave up 0.1%. Gains in the big four banks were outweighed by falls in the major resource stocks. Telstra rose. The retailers were mixed today. In Japan, the Nikkei gave up more than 0.5%. Shares on Wall Street fell amid weak economic news and ahead of Thursday's Federal Reserve meeting. The Australian dollar is buying 77.5 US cents, and it comes as the Reserve Bank continued to warn that a weaker currency is needed to balance the economy. And on the commodity markets, both gold and oil are higher. And before I go, another record broken in the Sydney property market. SQM Research says the median asking price for a house in Sydney is now more than $1.1 million. Antoine Janice.
Big number.
It sure is.